Okay, everybody, this is Emar Soap2. Welcome to another edition of the Fighting Peaches. We're going to do something a little bit different with this one, where we're going to highlight various college football teams in the Sun Belt Conference. We usually focus on Georgia State. We're going to do a preview of each of the teams in the conference and things they have to look forward to in the 2021 season. As always, if you want to follow everything that we're doing, go to the mothership, to sportsinquirer.net, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also go to our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under the Sports Inquirer. And then finally, you can go to our audio and video content providers on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcast, and others, including iTunes, and go to the Sports Inquirer, and you'll be able to see everything that we have going on. As I mentioned, this preview of college football season will focus on Coastal Carolina out of the Sun Belt Conference. They had a storybook season last year. 11 wins, only one loss, finished undefeated in conference play in the Sun Belt, defeated BYU on a nationally televised contest. Lone loss of the season came to Liberty in the Cure Bowl. So outside of that blemish at the very end of the year, they had a perfect record through the first 11 games of last season. What that's meant is preseason, they're getting nationally ranked and recognized by various polls throughout the nation. Here is head coach Jamey Caldwell on the team handling these expectations.
Our program is built on a mindset of, Silas mentioned, on love for your brother, love for each other, and having a chip on your shoulder, and always finding a way to be better. And for us, that's how we go out and play at a high level, is having that same mindset. And so for us, it's always about hunting something. We're always looking for a challenge or looking for something that gives us an added motivation, a chip on our shoulder to continue to go prove who we are. Because all of us currently at Coastal were told we weren't good enough, right? We're told you're not good enough to do this, you're not good enough that, you're not good enough to do that. And so there's a chip on a lot of our shoulders. And that's got to be a mentality that always stays with you. I know I have one. I know our strength coaches have one. I know our position coaches have one. And that's the mentality that we try to have our players compete with, and they do a great job of that. And I truthfully don't worry about it because we got good leaders that have that chip.
And not only are they picked to finish high in the national rankings, they're predicted to finish first in the Sun Belt in the Eastern Division. They actually, in the media poll, they're tied with Appalachian State for that mark. And we'll get to their schedule in a few minutes. But here is Caldwell on the team being picked to finish first in the Sun Belt East.
You know what? We don't put much into those preseason things as it was last year, so I've really not put much thought into it and didn't really concern about it. You know, at the end of the day, no matter where you're at, you got to go out there and earn them and play them. And whether we were last or first, I think I told our guys at one point, hey, last year we picked last, this year we're probably going to be first. It doesn't matter. And that's sort of the mentality we try to take. Obviously, they deserve to be up there. They've won 4 out of the last 5 championships, and they've got a lot of great players and great coaches, and so they deserve that. Whether we do or not, I think is remained to be seen. We've got to continue to build our program, but we'll approach it the same as we did last year, with just playing with a chip on that shoulder.
And if they finish first in the Sun Belt East, they'll be able to participate in the championship game. Remember, last year that game did not take place due to the pandemic, but schedule-wise, it looks like it's going to happen. But if they want to get back to that mark, they're going to have to probably win out in the Eastern Division, similar to what they did last year. Here's Caldwell on getting the team back in a position for a conference championship.
Well, I think we want to get back and play whoever. I don't know if we need any extra incentive for that. Our main focus and the way we do our program is each week for us is a championship. Every week we have to play for one. We've got to win games a certain way, and so obviously we want to go back and earn the opportunity again to be Sun Belt champions, no doubt. Whoever we get the opportunity to play. And we know there's a big challenge in this league in our East Division to try to accomplish that. But make no doubt, we want to hopefully host it. That's the one of the disappointing things was obviously not getting to play, but also not having the chance to host that game as well. So that would be something great if we could accomplish that. But every day, that's what we're working towards.
Now, the good news for the Chanticleer fans, and I'm saying that correctly, and if you're listening, I know I've said Chanticleers, Chanticleers, it's Chanticleers. And actually, I like Coastal Carolina. I've been to Conway before. Very nice area of South Carolina. So hopefully, I'm saying that correct for all of you listening. But they do bring back probably the top offense in the Sun Belt Conference, and they're led by preseason conference player of the year, sophomore quarterback Grayson Mccall. He had 33 total touchdowns last season, only 3 interceptions thrown. So he is going to be the top signal caller in the conference, at least coming into this year. His top target most likely will be Isaiah Likely. He injured his foot during in the off season last year, but he is actually no. What happened is he injured his foot during the season, but he still played 11 to 12 contests for the team last year. Had 30 catches, 601 yards, 5 touchdown receptions. He is back from that injury and looks like he's going to have a strong campaign. We asked him during the Sunbelt Media Days on the team handling those high expectations coming into 2021.
Just like Silas said, I mean, it is pressure at the end of the day. It is football, like it's a competitive sport, but just being with your brothers and understanding that at the end of the day, it's about having fun and playing with the guys next to you every day, day in, day out. Just shows you that no matter what pressure, I can look to the side, I got Silas, I can look to my other side, I got CJ. It don't matter who it is. Like, as long as I'm with them, I feel good.
Yeah, so we know they're going to be able to score a lot of points with that offense, but the improvements that we saw most in Coastal Carolina last year were on the defensive end. Last year, or 2019, the year before last, they gave up more than 30 points per contest in 2019. They slashed that mark by nearly 33% and gave up only 20.2 points per game last year. So they gave up 10 points less in a 1 year span. And that was a very big improvement for Coastal and led them to that success. Their top returners on the defensive end will include all conference linebacker Silas Kelly. He led the team with 80 tackles last season. 6.5 of those tackles were for loss, 5 sacks, an interception, and recovered a fumble also in his 2020 campaign. Here is Kelly about this season and what he's anticipating and looking forward to with the high hopes for the Chanticleers.
I think before last year, obviously we were picked to finish last in the conference, and that's a motivation enough to go out there every day and compete and work hard so you can win each game. This year, it's a little different story because of the success we had last year. People probably have a target on us, and you might call that pressure, but in our minds, we're still picked to finish last. So we got to carry that with us and take that into this year and have the same approach, same mentality, same mindset as we did last year, regardless of what happened.
And other top returners for Coastal will include all conference selections in as far as preseason goes in lineman J.C. Brewer and defensive back Jadordan Jordan Strong. I got that right. The Jordan Strong. He is a defensive back, one of the top DBs in the conference. So they're going to have a lot coming back on the defensive end as well. Yeah, looking at the schedule, they opened the season, I think, with 2 winnable contests in non-conference play. They faced the Citadel on September 2nd, and then next week or the week after, they face Kansas. I think those games will be very beneficial for them, at least to keep in the national rankings and to keep the season going. I think their biggest games of the season are 2 Eastern Conference foes. Their visit Appalachian State. They defeated the Mountaineers last year at home, so they have to go to Boone, North Carolina, and play in that contest. They host Georgia State, who probably outside. You think Coastal and Appalachian State are the 2 top teams in the Eastern Conference? You can agree on that. That 3 through 5 spot, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, all can have a say in things. But I think they're hosting Georgia State. I think that's the team that, if it's not Appalachian State or Coastal, the the Panthers are a team that can vie for that top spot, and they host them, so that's good. They also do not face Louisiana this year on the schedule. If they do face Louisiana, they will most likely face the Raging Cajuns in the conference championship game. I think the Cajuns are a pretty solid favorite in the Sun Belt West. But if they want to get that missed, because last year they wanted to face each other and battle each other, and there's been talk among the fan bases between Coastal and Louisiana. They're not going to be able to do that during the regular season portion of the schedule. They're going to have to wait to the conference championship game. I mean, so that's their schedule. I think they have a chance to do very well. That Appalachian State game on the road is a tricky one, as always is for many teams going to Boone. My final thoughts on Coastal Carolina: they return probably on paper them and Appalachian State are the most talent as far as the Eastern Division goes. Having Grayson Mccall back is a very big benefit, and they do benefit from returning a good amount of defenders from that improved defense from a year ago. I think that they definitely have a chance to reach double-digit wins again. And similar to what we did in our Appalachian State preview, and I highly recommend that you go and listen to that on the site, if they're able to win out and get to, you probably have to go undefeated to put yourself in a New Year's Six bowl category, or to put yourself in even a playoff scenario. But if Coastal Carolina, with their season from last year, beating an Appalachian State who is on the periphery of being ranked nationally, and beating Louisiana in a conference championship game, they may have a very good case to be in one of those New Year's Six bowls. So there's a very optimistic season for the Chanticleers. And that concludes our preview of the Coastal Carolina football season. As always, head to the mothership, to sportsinquirer.net. Premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can go to our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under the Sports Inquirer. And then finally, subscribe to our audio and video content providers on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iTunes. Just do a search for us, the Sports Inquirer, and you'll be able to find us. Until next time, good fight, good night, and be safe.